Good evening. I'd like to share a story with you about how a teapot, a naked man and a duck changed my life. So we're going back a little bit. It's 2015 and life's pretty good. I'm living in Brisbane, doing some theatre, also running my own little marketing company so I can actually make money because theatre doesn't. And discovering that, well, there can be quite a fine line between finding a groove and getting stuck in a rut. And you know, things are pretty good. Probably the biggest thing that I looked at in my life and go, well, I've been perpetually single. And you know, I became the expert on the first date that you organised that, well, I've got this 20-minute window here where we could meet up for a drink and then I need to go off to somewhere else. So that, you know, 20 minutes sometimes is about all you can take and you need that excuse about, oh, look, sorry, really have to go now. Whereas if it's going well, then you can go, look, I'm just going to go and cancel that thing and move on from there. But there's this old joke that goes along the lines of, what does a gay man bring to a second date? Second date? And it kind of starts to feel a bit true, you know, and you know, another story I'd heard went along the lines of, especially once you become of a certain age, that men are a bit like parking spaces. You know, they're either taken, they're disabled, or they're too far away. And so I just, you know, I guess for me it was this thing of, you know, you start to wonder, is it me? Because, you know, if the common denominator in all these dates is me, what's going on here? So I'm getting towards the end of 2015 and really looking at the fact that, you know, I'm coming up with a lot of sayings tonight. I don't normally do this, but there is an old saying that says, you know, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. And going, well, what might I need to look at differently? And I came across this picture of Michael Lunix, and I don't know if you're familiar with his work, but there's a particular character called Vasco Pajamas. And Vasco is an intrepid explorer. And there's this particular image, he's naked, he wears only the teapot of truth on his head, and he's following his direction-finding duck. And I know all of that sounds quite odd, but it was this, I don't know, for me there was something so compelling about this image that that's what I wanted, this freedom to say, I'm just going to follow my duck. And I bought a copy of that and I put it up on my wall and I went, this is my New Year's resolution. And I don't know where it's going to take me, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to be open to whatever that is. Now, it was a few months later that on yet another one of those apps where you meet up with people, and I got this message from this guy, and the first thing I saw was that he was rather cute. The second thing is that he was from Townsville. So immediately I went, well, that's never going to happen. But we started just chatting and discovered that we had all these things in common and we just kind of clicked and connected. And it moved from there to talking on the phone, and then it was kind of like realizing that we've talked on the phone for a few hours now for 3 weeks, and still I'm going, I've made this really good friend who I'll probably never meet because he lives so far away. And all of a sudden my direction-finding duck started to talk to me and say, hey, why are you putting limitations on this? Wasn't this the year where you're going, hey, we're going to follow wherever this leads? So I thought, well, I'm due for a holiday. And, you know, I've heard Magnetic Island is rather nice. And so I might head up this way for a bit. And, you know, and so, yes, met the person on the other end of the phone, and it went really well. And then I had to kind of say, well, what do you do on a second date? And then there was a third and a fourth. And then it was the whole question of, what does life look like with me in Townsville rather than me in Brisbane. And a process of saying, you know, can I find my groove here? And in fact, it was so easy to fall in love with this place, so easy to feel at home here. And the people of, well, Magnetic Island, where I lived first for a few years, and back in Townsville for the last 6 months, it's just so warm, so welcoming, such a beautiful, wonderful artistic community, you know, and have gone back to teaching since I've been here, which is fantastic, and really enjoy helping young people find their voice, and especially through the arts. So I look back now and go, I'm so grateful to Michael Lunig for that inspiration, but also kind of look at it now and go, well, it kind of figures that I'd end up in Townsville, because in Australia, ducks fly north for winter.